Catflap Chats. This is episode 61. I am absolutely honoured today to be sitting with rugby royalty, All Blacks legend. Would you class yourself as a legend?
Not really.
No, Mr. Just passing through, just doing his thing, Mr. Sitiveni, Sivivatu. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm even going to celebrate with a little beer, pal. So
it's my pleasure as well.
Hey, look, thank you so much. So, what are you up to at the moment? How's life? How's France? What's going on? What's news with you?
Yeah, nothing much at all. Since I left New Zealand, I went to France. Played a couple of rugbies up there in Clermont-Ferrand with a couple of Welsh guys.
Yeah.
Made my way down south, played for Cast. I finished on Cast and joined the rugby stuff.
Yeah.
In 2013, I think. And ever since, I've been here and looking over to transfer to the UK.
So you're looking to come over to the UK soon, are you?
Yeah.
Class. So are you coaching at Cast at the moment then?
Yep, I'm part of the coaching staff in Cast.
How did you find that transition from playing and lacing your boots up to go and play 80 minutes to the other side where you're coaching sort of Monday to Friday and then letting the boys go out and run out on a weekend?
For me, it's kind of normal. I've done this for a long time, and just to chill out and watch people play instead of, me playing.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling, I haven't enjoyed that for how many years I've played rugby,
Yeah.
Especially sometimes you get a beer and just sit down and watch, appreciate the game. And then you watch people that watch rugby with you shouting. I'm like, hey, could you just calm it down and just enjoy the game, please?
I suppose most people don't understand what it takes to actually be a professional rugby player or even a professional coach because they've maybe played at like the level I've played at and then they watch it on TV. Yeah. So they're shouting anything they want to shout, but actually they don't understand what it takes to actually just get to a Saturday or a Friday night.
Yeah, some people don't get it, I'm like, for people like you and me, we play rugby. When you go to watch rugby, you tend to just appreciate it and watch whatever comes out of the game. There's always a winning side and a losing side.
Yeah.
But, just enjoy a moment with it. Then I guess you have a lot of people that sits outside pretending to be a coach and be like, well, I'm not too sure if this guy's hold a rugby ball in his whole life,
Yeah.
Telling somebody in the field what to do and be like, just please sit down and enjoy your beer and eat your popcorn.
What's the culture like out in France then? Because in Wales, it's very claustrophobic sometimes and the public can really get on top of the players, especially if they're not performing, whether that's for Wales or maybe for like Cardiff Blues or whoever. Yeah. What's it like in France then?
Supporters, I think it's quite the same, whereas in France, it's sort of like the crowd controls the ref.
Okay.
And it's right in your face. Boo, boo. I'm like, whoa, whoa. But then again, it's totally different rugby, compared to Wales, England, and other country, I guess.
It seems very attritional, and I've spoken to a few people about you, and I've read some comments. I spoke to Lee Byrne about you the other day, and he had great things to say about you. But apparently, you're one of the sharpest minds in the game. You have a very sharp mind. On the pitch, you were able to see things and then execute them, and you've taken that into your coaching, apparently. Yeah. How have you found, do you enjoy that day-to-day coaching, and are you able to just switch off then when the game comes on because you've done your job, or are you
Yeah.
still finding yourself going, there's the gap, run this line, do this, do that?
Oh, I'm sort of a person who, um, who learns that people have different ability. There's
Yeah,
some people you can read the game, some people you need to work extra hard.
yeah,
But for my side of the story as a coach, is I enjoy the feeling watching guys grow up as a rugby player,
yeah.
develop their abilities in rugby and as a person. I enjoy that, and yeah, that's about it, I guess, for me.
You've been successful as a coach so far. Obviously, Cast won, was it 2017, 18?
Yeah,
I think you came sixth and then ended up winning.
yeah. I finished my career and then jumped into coaching, and then the following year we won the championship in France, which is a blessing in the sky, I guess.
Did
So,
that make the transition easier then from playing?
oh, I always find it easier, in whatever I do. Especially coming from rugby, if you have a rugby mind, moving through to coaching, it's much easier for me as well. And I'm always fascinating into learning team cultures and analysis kind of game and
Yeah,
tactical side of rugby, and
yeah.
learning from different people. Wales, English, French. Um, yeah, that's what I love about rugby.
How did you find that transition from New Zealand to France? Because I can imagine my family live in Auckland. I've been over a few times, and I went to the 2011 World Cup, and I know a couple of New Zealanders who have come over here, Gareth Anscombe and a few others. Like their culture seems a bit more chilled out, a bit more laid back, work hard, but it doesn't seem like it gets quite as intense sometimes, maybe, as it does over here, especially in the UK. How
Yeah.
did you find the difference from New Zealand to France?
I guess the biggest difference was just the language barrier for me.
Yeah,
Going through France, the language was really hard for me. Just trying to understand left and right, up and down,
yeah,
as Bernie knows.
yeah,
But other side of thing, rugby, as all northern hemisphere, rugby is all about contact, just
yeah,
tight games, while in New Zealand it's like speed and technique,
yeah,
and which is works out in my favor as I enjoy, other cultures and easily adapted to the way they play.
yeah,
And coming from New Zealand, um, you are more structured, and I pretty much can read five face or six face before everyone else.
Can you?
In France, but in New Zealand, it's rugby is simple and it's easier to play.
Yeah,
Just like the UK and Wales. Um, I, I mean, a lot of countries have different way they do rugby as
yeah,
well. So, but France, I quite enjoy the French side of rugby. They're just like
yeah,
the way we played back in Fiji.
yeah.
Free flowing, you do whatever you want, and just like they call it in France, is champagne rugby. Just
Yeah.
use your instinct. You can score from anywhere.
Jouet, jouet.
Jouer, jouer. As Bernie used to say, Chandel. As soon as I hear this Chandel, I knew highballs is coming along.
He's a good man, Birdie. He's a good bloke.
Oh, I love that guy. He's really really good friend to have, and really great rugby player.
Yeah,
So
he was quality. Take me back to Fiji then, because you didn't leave Fiji until you were, I think, 14 or 15, from what I've read. What was playing rugby like and growing up like in Fiji?
Um, I I went to a boarding school. That's where I started playing rugby. It's like
Yeah,
a boys rugby school, and every year we battle it out with other schools
yeah,
and played rugby. And I think when I was 17, I got a scholarship to go to New Zealand. So
yeah.
I went over.
And was like in Fiji, do you play any other sports growing up, or was it purely rugby?
In Fiji, there's a lot of sports you can do.
Yeah,
We played sevens, touch, volleyball, rugby,
yeah.
mostly rugby, I guess.
Did you know that that's what you wanted to do as a career, or were you just playing for the fun of it?
Not really. I was playing in a rugby school back in Fiji. It's like rugby is a big thing,
Yeah,
you know. It's just like Wales. If they lose the Five Nations,
yeah,
if they lose to England, it's a big thing.
yeah,
But it's kind of like that in a boarding school. If you lose the cup, that's it. It's like a bad year all around.
yeah.
And I've never dreamed, to become really successful in rugby until I got to New Zealand, and then goals changed, everything changed.
Yeah. What,
Um,
what was that like? You went to, is it Wesley College?
yeah.
So I looked at some of the former players from Wesley College, right?
Oh,
So
you
my
thought you were thinking me.
so my brother went to Auckland Boys, I think it was,
Upper boys, yeah.
in Takapuna, like because they lived
Yeah,
on
yeah,
North Shore, right? But
yeah.
I looked at Wesley College and just some of the players that I knew. So Piatau, Lomu, Sikopi Kepu, Fekatoa, Tagi Thakenbau, Stephen Donald, Frank Kalai, Lawalala, who played at Cardiff as well for a bit, Mapasua, George Stower, sorry, Hallie T-Pole, yourself. Like, that is some school to produce unbelievable talent.
Y- yeah, it's kind of like the rugby schools, Auckland was big in those days.
Yeah,
You have Auckland Boys, you have Auckland Grammar, you have Kelston, you have who else? Mount Albert. You have there's just a lot of schools, that comes up with a lot of rugby players. Then you have Saint Kitts. Saint Kitts, you have Jerome Kano, you have
yeah,
Joe Rodoko,
yeah,
and then you have the likes of Auckland Grammar. You have Doug Harlett. Uh, just to name a few, you have Kelston Boys. You have Sammy Tutipo, Shione Lawaki,
yeah,
um, Mills Mulia. It's just piling up.
yeah,
Back in the days, we have to have Auckland A's and Auckland B's,
yeah.
while other regions they just have one team.
Okay,
Auckland is just so big
yeah,
that you have combined the two, North Harbour, South Auckland, and Auckland.
yeah.
So,
So, I don't know if you know Nick Williams, the number eight.
yeah,
He was, yeah. So he spoke about growing up there, and he obviously played for Auckland Blues for a bit, and he absolutely loved it. Said it was all these legends that he used to grow up watching, and then as a kid, he's kind of come in and learning from them. What was that like from you at 17 and 18, going into that school environment with these players who are obviously classed, and also into that NPC and Counties Manukau and those teams like that?
um, for me, it was like a really big thing. Sitting back home in Fiji, I used to watch rugby all the time.
Yeah,
You hear about Auckland, Counties Manukau, but when I joined up counties, there was a lot of guys, really look up to that plays for counties.
yeah,
And playing was like a dream come true, and we learn to just buy your time and then grow as a person, just learning off them
Yeah.
with the experience, I think I can remember it was the first time I've ever played. Um, I played in the first game, Counties versus Auckland. That was Robin Brooks' last game.
Yeah.
And then I managed to tackle him um, 5 meters in the line. And he's like, dude, why don't you let me score? It's my last game. I was like, we're not in the same team, mate.
I love that. What sort of youngster were you? Like, were you carving up back then and scoring tries for fun, or did that come later on down the line?
No, that comes later down the line when I've learned,
Yeah.
When it first started, it's just like getting in and just learning how to play and looking up to the idols you have and just learning the culture, which is totally different to what I've come through in Fiji.
Yeah.
And that was it, really.
Did you find that transition from Fiji to New Zealand easy, or was it hard for you?
I think was easy for me as a Fijian coming through. Um, in New Zealand, is quick to adapt because the team culture, the way they do things, is easy to get into the team.
Yeah.
And for me, it was really easy.
Did you enjoy that journey? I suppose from Counties Manukau, and then you signed for. Did you sign for Waikato
Yeah,
in the NPC, and you won? You won. Did you win the league then that year as well?
yeah.
Well, yeah. What was that journey like? Like as a kid, you're obviously still quite young then. Like that's
Oh,
class.
mate, it was like one of the highlights. Coming as we were in first division, Counties Manukau.
Yeah.
We dropped down to second division, and we won the championship coming from second division. And just chilling at home when I got a call to go to get into the Chiefs side.
Yeah.
2003, I think 2003, 2004. Yeah, then getting to the Chiefs, I'm like, whoa, this is
Yeah.
another level. So I'm like, yeah, I was really excited. And then I knew I had to buy my time because there was a lot of well-established players in the Chiefs side. You have the Randall, you have uh, John O'Gapes, you have the Tony Miller, the Low and the Regans King.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
just like getting in was one step forward for me as well as a
Yeah.
person. And then I just bide my time, sat on the bench, and just wait. So
It didn't take long for you to obviously starting for the Chiefs in Super Rugby, and then I looked at because I forgot about this originally, and then when I looked at it again, I remember watching the games. You're called up for the Pacific Islands team. So there was in 2004 there was the Pacific Islands tour, wasn't there? And you played against South Africa and was it Australia and a few other teams?
yeah, it was kind of. I think we had a break, and then I wanted um, experience how international work, and that was my pathway.
Yeah,
And I still got a year left or something to get into the ABs if I want.
yeah,
And then that opportunity came up to play with my brothers from the island Samoa and Tonga,
yeah.
and I was kind of keen and excited to join them. And then that's when I decided, oh, this is my only chance. I can play against the ABs, the Africans, the Australians.
Yeah,
Might as well gain some experience before I do.
yeah. You scored 9 tries on that tour. Like, that's pretty special, pal.
Ah, it was easy when other people were doing their job, you know.
That's what did it feel like to represent your home nation? You know, obviously, what do you have, 45 caps for All Blacks, but what was it like to represent the islands and Fiji, Samoa and Tonga?
Oh, you know, I'm a firm believer in appreciating my culture and my country and where I'm from, you know.
Yeah,
And you know, I'm sort of like on as well to represent New Zealand and their team culture and the way they change the way I see the game and
yeah.
play the way I played. But you know, I'm a Fijian and I'm a genuine Fijian as well. so, but you know, and the island nation we really have bond, you know, for three nation.
Yeah,
When you put the three island nation together, you see something is going to come up, and it's exciting, you know. It's sort of like the brotherhood of the Pacific Island, you know, the three nations.
I feel like they've given so much to rugby, and obviously with the Dan Leo, I don't know if you've seen that Dan Leo
Yeah,
documentary. Like, it's highlighted potential exploitation and some of the journeys that other unions and players have been on. Like, do you, you know, do you think that there should be a Pacific Island team in Super Rugby, for example, or how can you see that going?
yeah, you know, I do agree with Dan and you know the way they're moving Pacific Island rugby and you know bigger nations. Bigger nations have draw cards, you know, they have sponsors. But, you know, in order to have a super rugby team um, from the Pacific Island, you know, you need big guns at the back of you to, you know,
Yeah,
to really drive it.
yeah,
And that's something um, we need to build, you know, build a base.
yeah,
I see a lot of games happening in the islands, but I think you need big sponsors as well, you know.
yeah,
Big sponsors with big pockets
yeah.
to really drive the team, you know.
What what's the quality of rugby like back on the islands?
Um, I've watched a lot of rugby. It's really improved, to be
Yeah,
honest. I guess it's the influence of coaches that goes through. I think Fiji have grown a lot
yeah,
the way they do rugby. You know, like I commented on Samoa and Tonga, but the way I've seen Fiji, the last two coaches, you know, have really driven the way they do things, especially developing players and
yeah,
coming through, moving from sevens to 15s and bringing the young guns through and stuff, which has changed.
yeah,
But still, things we're battling with, I think, is, as I said, is just big sponsors and money, you know.
yeah. And making sure, I suppose, that money's being spent in the right way rather than some of the potential things that we've seen in some of the other documentaries where it's gone missing.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, you have to understand as well. You know, the rugby union is trying to stay on their feet.
Yeah,
Some rugby unions are helped by the government, some don't. And I think you have to look at all sides to really solve the problem of how we can move rugby forward, I guess.
yeah, I completely agree, pal. It's gonna take time, but it's gonna take a lot of people to come together and try and work
Exactly.
together.
exactly.
I hope it happens. Like I love watching, Fiji and Samoa play, and some of my favourite players are from the island heritage. So fingers crossed, it comes through, pal.
Same as me.
Talk me through
Yeah.
so you've played for the Pacific Islanders. You've got a taste for international rugby and scoring in international rugby. Take me through your All Blacks journey. So, am I right in saying that you kind of had a possibles versus probables trial or something like that first, and then you got picked the following year?
Yeah, back in the days, we used to have what they just did this year.
Yeah, they did North versus South this year, I think, didn't they?
Yeah, well, as if in the past, we used to have possible and the probables.
Yeah.
So they pick and then we just play rugby and the coaches and selectors just pick players.
Who were the wingers back then when you were doing that?
I can't remember. All I knew was the probables. I guess I was in possible. I guess it was me, Dougie.
Yeah.
The other side was, I think, was Scott Hamilton. I think.
Okay. Yeah, he played for Leicester, didn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hamilton, and I'm not too sure.
Rokethoko?
No, he joined the IRB, I guess.
Oh, okay.
The seventh tournament.
Yeah.
Somebody else, I forgot.
That's all right. What was that like then, stepping up? Because in the space of a couple of years, you've gone from NCP2 to 1 to Super Rugby, international to All Blacks. Like, that is some journey, but that might take someone 5, 6, 7 years maybe. You've done it in 2 or 3. Like, how did you find that? And again, did it just keep coming easy to you because had great players around you, or
Well,
like
it's just
what
that,
was?
I just have good coaches and good players around me
Yeah,
that just help me through and makes the journey more easy. And I've sort of like learned a lot within how many months,
yeah,
and just going through. So, you have the likes of Jerry Collins, you have the Soyalo, you have the Umangas, you have, there's a lot of great players you've come through, and, you sort of like just pick one or two things off them and learn
yeah,
how how they how they work and how the team runs, which makes it easier. For me, coming from the islands, was
yeah.
just like a bus totally through.
Class. I suppose you're just like a sponge, picking everything off from all the others.
Yeah, exactly.
What was it like for you? So 2005, it's your debut against Fiji, obviously your home nation. Scored 4 tries on debut. Like not many people do that. What were your thoughts as you lined up for the anthems before the game, and then how did you feel after when you had scored 4 tries against Fiji?
Oh, I was quite emotional, at the national anthem, playing against my country, and at the back of my mind, my dad used to say, if you play in another country, but in real birth, you're still a Fijian, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
As long as you're flying the Fiji flag in other countries, you're still a Fijian as a
yeah,
person. So I was quite emotional, and after the game, I was like, I was having a buzz, because just a lot of guys I played with in the PIs
yeah,
that played in the team, we sort of just laugh it off, and all the tries was just like, I mean, you playing with All Blacks and other great players that do their job, 100%. Um, and I was lucky enough to be at the end of the line with just 4 tries.
yeah. Catching it and putting it down.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly. So it's just like standing there. They give you the ball, you score the try.
When you come over to New Zealand, could you see that that's where you were going to get to? Like, for me, if I'm having an international debut for the All Blacks, that's like a pinch myself moment. Like, oh my God, did that actually just happen? Like, 4 tries on debut. Like, or do you just take it in your stride and it's just the game and where can you learn and how can you get better next time?
I'm a sort of a person that just learns along the way.
Yeah.
It's just a buzz for me. Just
Yeah.
learning and moving on to other things, and I love learning new things,
Yeah.
which what I love doing.
Yeah.
And to play with one of the best team in the world,
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa. I was just like having a laugh after the game. It's like it's not in the 100 millions to be in the team.
Yeah. It's special. Like, you seem very chilled out and very relaxed. Are you like that on the pitch before kickoff when you're training? Do you just take it in your stride, or do you get nervous and feel pressure?
No, I'm chilled out through the game.
Yeah,
Most Fijians, we just sleep, just wake up in the bus,
yeah,
and that's it. But as soon as the kickoff goes, I'm sure it's on.
yeah.
Um,
Who I wanted to get to, if you don't mind, the Lions. So 2000,
I knew you gotta ask us.
So I'm actually English, or even though I live in Cardiff in Wales, right? And so 2003 for me was amazing. Johnny Wilkinson, blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
You came on the scene in 2005 and you tore the Lions up. What was that experience like, playing against the Lions and that tour? And you went well, but the team went well. DC was a different level. Like, what was that whole experience like?
Um, to play it against one of the best team in the world, um, I guess was a challenge for me
Yeah,
personally, and the public as well was behind us. So there's no way we're gonna let them down.
yeah,
And a lot of the people who've played with All Blacks, they've never played against the Lions.
yeah, of
And
course.
Lions comes after every 6 years.
12 years.
12 years, sorry.
12 years, yeah.
Yeah, the Lion comes after 12 years. So if you missed out, man, and I was fortunate enough to play in that team that played with a lot of great players. You
Yeah,
have the Wilkinson, you have the Dawson,
yeah.
you have the Dwayne Dwayne
Dwayne
Peel,
Peel, Brian O'Driscoll.
you have the Brian O'Driscoll, you have the Jones, you have
Yeah,
the Shane, you have
yeah, yeah, yeah.
just like this is all the guns from the Northern Hemisphere coming down.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity, to play against the best. You don't know how good you are until you play against the best. But I was fortunate enough.
And once you'd finished the Lions, and obviously we lost, 3-0, and did you feel like you were part of the best team in the world? And did you feel like one of the best wingers in the world? Or again, do you ignore the media? Do you ignore the newspapers and kind of just get on with your day?
No, I guess the team culture in New Zealand is quite different.
Yeah.
We just move forward. We don't dwell on the past. Great example is 2007. We lost quarterfinal.
France.
2011, that's it, back on track.
Yeah.
2015, back on track. That's the way rugby in New Zealand works. They don't, they enjoy their success, but
Yeah.
they don't sit on it and just ride with it.
Yeah.
They keeps on changing every now and then.
Yeah. What was it like being around, like, for all of the All Blacks mystery and mystique and team culture, like you said, were there times where the boys just let their hair down, have a load of beers, relax, have a good time together, as well as smashing it Monday to Friday and then playing on a Saturday as well?
Oh, team culture is in New Zealand. It's sort of like we enjoyed our success in the weekend,
Yeah.
but we work from Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
Um, After that, you get a beer at the end of
Yeah.
the night, get smashed up like the Welsh, the English.
Yeah.
But we don't cause trouble like English and Welsh. Yeah, yeah, we enjoy it, but at the end, at the back of our mind, we always knew we represent, a brand and a country.
Yeah.
You don't want to be the one that let the team down. So if you drink,
Yeah, of course.
just think about the consequences of what you're gonna do.
Yeah. I remember, so when I was in university, must have been 2004 to 2008. I can't remember which year now, but you guys came over for the autumn series in the November.
Yeah.
And I remember you trained on the university that I was at in Cardiff, and we were all there and involved and stuff. And I remember some of the guys, like I'd see Marnonu or a couple of the guys, whatever, were out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, didn't go out Friday, and then smashed Wales by about 30 points on Saturday. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, I know I was a kid then, I must have been 19 maybe, so I'd never seen it before. Like, and I was just like, this is unbelievable. Like, this is amazing. Like, how do they do it?
Oh, people are different. People act differently towards the game.
Yeah.
Some people can go out. You can in our team you are free to what you do,
Yeah.
but you have team rules and other thing that follows. You can
Yeah.
go out, have a beer. You can go out, have a beer until 12.
Yeah.
But at the back of your mind, training is the next day.
Yeah.
So
Don't take the
yeah,
piss.
don't take the piss, mate.
Yeah, don't take the piss. No, they look. If it works, then fair play. Like, let's talk about 2007. You mentioned it then, and obviously that was in Cardiff. So I don't know what your memories of Cardiff are like,
Yeah.
but I just remember that grey kit. I remember Luke McAllister playing 12. France, like, it's always New Zealand, France. Like, what is it about that game, and what do you remember about 2007?
Um, all I remember in 2007 was we lost the quarterfinal, and we really let a lot of people down.
Yeah,
Especially for me because I went back to New Zealand, and a lot of guys stayed in Europe.
yeah.
We sort of like went back and faced the faced the music going back, but
Yeah,
as we went back, a lot of things changes, and 2011 was the next spot.
yeah.
That's it's sort of like a learning and changing way kind of thing that repeated itself.
You missed out on 2011 for the
Yeah.
World Cup. What was that disappointment like? Of 2007, it didn't work out. 2011, you didn't get a chance to rectify that. Were you injured? Is that when you broke your
I
eye socket?
Yeah, I was injured with my eye socket and I did my knee.
Yeah.
So I sort of like I stayed home. I thought about it and had the opportunity to come up to France, so I did.
Uh,
I had no hard feelings about it.
How do you manage that disappointment personally? Because rugby, well, as life is a roller coaster, and you've had the highs of being picked for each of these teams, the All Blacks, like I said, 45 tests, 29 tries, Pacific Islands, the Lions Tour, playing in a World Cup 2007. How do you manage the disappointments not being selected, and how do you deal with that and move forward again?
Um, I guess the biggest thing for me is I've learned that a long time ago. My dad used to tell me, if you have a big disappointment, try and change that disappointment to be a new adventure in life.
Yeah,
And I sort of like hold on to that. Um, Came across a lot of disappointment, but I just picked myself up and just moved on because um, if you stayed long, being disappointed, you lose a lot of time and effort
yeah,
without seeing a lot of um, new changes and opportunities.
yeah. That's
And
a,
sort of like I went into France and I just like enjoyed it and I forgot all of it. But
what was Claremont like? Is an unbelievable team, unbelievable
uh,
stadium. It looks berserk when I watch it on TV.
you can ask Birdie.
Yeah, he loved it. He
he's
absolutely loved it.
he's the king of Claremont that one. Oh, it's sort of like I enjoyed it because there was a lot of us.
Yeah,
You have the likes of Libran, you have the Kings, Regan King.
yeah, yeah,
There's a lot of Fijians. We really kind of like just binded in.
yeah.
Just like have a get together, have a drinks the weekend makes it life so easy, and the crowd over there are so awesome.
It,
You know,
it looks amazing.
it's the biggest atmosphere you can be.
Yeah,
Um, Heading into the game, you just see yellow, so
yeah.
they're right behind you, mate.
What was so? I looked at some of the obviously the seasons you were there, and unfortunately, you kept getting through to semi-finals or finals, especially in the Heineken Cup, but couldn't quite get the win. How did the team manage to pick itself up and then repeat again? Because it was easily one of the best teams in Europe. It couldn't just quite get to the top.
I think it's they used to say it in France. It's one of the cursed team
Yeah,
as we will get up and get back down. But as a rugby player, each season brings challenges and changes as well.
yeah.
When you lose a semi-final, then getting into, I know it will be hard, but getting into the next season, it changes perspective as well, brings new ideas.
Like, do the French take the losses as hard as say they do in Wales, or do they again to like the supporters there? Do they allow the team to grow and move on and go again, or do they hammer them? And do you guys feel that from the French supporters?
The French boys take it really hard, because it's their
Yeah,
team and their country, and some of them it's their region, bred and born in the
yeah.
regions. So they take it really hard. But you can ask Bernie. It's always easy coming off a semi-final loss, and then your coach is heading into the grandstand with a couple of crates of beer and just wash your pain away.
I suppose that's the best way to be at that particular time, and then you can re-go again on the Monday.
Exactly. So I'll be like, there you go. The French will go home, and you see the Fijian, the Welsh, the English still there in the pub until the morning.
Oh, it's brilliant, mate. Hey, look, I know you haven't got much time left, so I'd love to. I could sit and chat to you for hours, mate. And if you come over here to the UK at some point,
Yeah.
I'd love to catch you for a beer, pal. But what are the plans for the future? What do you want to try and achieve now as a coach? Because you've achieved so much as a player. Like, what do you want to do?
As a coach, just trying to transit to UK. Uh, I just want to be successful, just like um, back in the career days. And it's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
long way up, but I'm a kind of a person that works really hard, earn my spot, and earn my stripe as well.
yeah,
Enjoy the time, drink a few beers,
yeah.
and just moving on.
Would you ever consider, going back to coaching New Zealand or even for Fiji at international level? Is
Um, there's a lot of coaches in New Zealand and Fiji, maybe when I'm well established as a coach. I'll
Yeah,
probably go back to help out.
yeah,
In New Zealand, I'd love to go back at some stage, just to learn how they run things.
yeah,
Probably rugby is more advanced than what we see nowadays,
yeah, yeah,
because things always changing in New Zealand, the way they do things. I'd love to see how they run the whole team, medical and other stuff, rugby side of things, how well they manage their players, and how do you cope with stress and
yeah,
those kind of things.
yeah. Mate, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see you over here. Before we go, who's the one player that you hated playing against because it was always a tough game and they were always good and you always found them really hard to play against? Who's that one player you would pick?
To be really honest, Mike, I didn't really find anybody who's bad. I've come
Yeah,
across pretty much a lot of great people, a
yeah,
lot of great players that I have to challenge myself every game to play.
yeah,
But if you name me, who will be the guy I've played with in Europe? I promise you with 100%, if a high ball comes at the back, if
yeah.
Lieber's standing at the back, I don't pretty much have a problem at the back.
Yeah,
I'm
it was
like
good.
he's gonna get it.
Yeah. Did you who if you were going to pick your back three that you've played with,
Yeah.
who would it be? Would it be Muliaina and either Howlett or Rocococo, or would you put someone else in there?
I probably have Mills,
Yeah,
uh, Bernie,
yeah,
and me.
on fire.
Oh, fine. You can have two high balls with
Yeah,
great experience, and that I'll just follow the other two.
class. I love that. Hey, look, I hope we get to see you over in the UK at some point coaching. I'd love to catch up and have a beer with you. I could chat with you for hours just to hear about New Zealand and the culture and the players that you played with, the players you played against, some of the teams that you've been involved in. Can I just say a massive thank you for giving up your time today? It's
Thank you,
been
Mike. You're welcome, mate.
it's been an absolute honour. Big thanks to Tiny Rebel Brewery because they give me a couple of beers for each one of these. So next
Cool,
time you're
mate.
over, I'll bring you some. All right.
All right, sounds good, Mike.
Okay. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, City. I'll see you soon. Take care, my man.
See you, mate.
Ta-ra, bye.